I'm more self-aware of
Yep.
things that are occurring and happening in my life. This is one of those things that I'm aware that I've got to have this stuff scheduled.
Yes.
And you can schedule appointments. And with Outlook, you can schedule it for 3 years in advance, and then you can move them. But it's there, and use that tool.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Society of Like-Minded Men. I am your host, Ramin Kayvan, and this is your other host, Tommy Sporletter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great,
Yeah?
Mr. Kayvon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Good.
Busy. Unbelievably busy, but, in a good way. But I think that is what sort of, as you and I discussed off camera, it's what we're going to be discussing today. This notion that there are things that require your attention all the time, and that they must be attended to. You can't just sort of pretend they don't exist. And so we call that feed the animals, FTA. And there's two kinds of FTA. We have decided there is personal FTA, which is make sure the kids have food for breakfast, that they get their bag lunches packed, they get off to school, you put gas in the car, you mow the lawn. Those are all those are basically personal kind of FTAs, pay the cable bill, yada yada.
Yep.
The other kind of feed the animals is what happens to you at work. Your list of things to do that can come and go in terms of size and complexity on any given day. So that's what we're going to discuss today, and sort of a few hints on how to sort of be able to wrap your arms around that kind of stuff and get better at it. One of the things that I think you and I will agree on is that it does require you to be aware of it and be somewhat disciplined about tending to it, right? As I think the tendency of a lot of people is to say, I don't want to deal with this, and then something important falls through the cracks until it becomes a nasty emergency. Then you got to deal with it a different way.
Yep.
So,
Well, what you've touched on, and you touch on it quite often, as we were looking at schedules, and you say if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Use your calendar as what I like to call as your source of truth.
Yeah.
Right. If something's not in your calendar, I don't care if it's your wedding anniversary, if it's your child's birthday, if it's a meeting with the boss, it has to be in the calendar. Otherwise, guarantee it, you will forget it.
Well, you do. And example in point, just this week, me and my brother were talking, and it's graduation season for a lot of my friends and their kiddos, whether it's college graduations, high school graduations.
It's that time of year.
Invites come out, 2-3 months ago. They've got a funeral to attend on Sunday. That came out. I got that on the calendar, but I didn't get a graduation on the calendar. My brother calls me. He's like, "Hey, when's that graduation for so-and-so?" And I'm like, "Oh,"
crap.
And we had to go through our text chain and do it and send it. So I sent myself that. But on and I use Outlook. That's my tool because of work. And I combine my work and my personal schedules. Everything is on my calendar, and I don't have anything to hide from work or whatever. And I can make my own schedule. I have my meetings, and all my meetings are tied to whether it's Microsoft Teams or Google Meets or whatever, when it's quote FTA work wise. But my personal stuff's mixed in there, and it's funny.
Yes.
You look at my
calendar.
It
has to be kind of mixed in there at some level.
Yeah, it is. But really, if it's not on there, because when I don't put those things on there, I get caught and they're overlapped. Yep. And then there's such a frustration in trying to then jumble and reschedule, because I have to do that on a normal basis anyways for work, because people call last minute. But then when I'm missing things that aren't on my calendar, as you said, it's true. It doesn't exist. And when you got so much going on, especially if you're a professional male, society of like-minded men, where you're working for a living, and doing those things and trying to keep up in the life of rat race, you need to be organized and you need to be focused. And
you need to be
really
so organized. Being organized is absolutely 100% key. It's when I spend my days on Zoom calls and Teams calls and Google Meets calls, and people are constantly saying, "Well, can we schedule the next meeting for next Tuesday at 10:30?" And I'm like, "Let me look at my calendar." And if I'm not available, I am very clear about telling people I'm not available. It
Yep.
is
And
because then I have to, because if I make myself available, then I have to tell somebody else who already has that time slot that I can't tend to them because I chosen to give that time slot to somebody else. That doesn't make me look very good.
that's one thing I've learned from you in this whole journey since I've known you is that's your first response. Always automatic is let
let,
me look at my
let me look
calendar.
at my let me look
And
at my calendar.
I'm trying to emulate that myself when somebody says, "Let me look at my calendar,"
It's yeah.
because I do. And now my calendar's on my desktop, it's on my iPhone, it's on my
Yeah, and it's not hard with today's
iPad.
technology, and
Look at it.
I've spent the past 30 years in IT. So if you need help with getting your calendar organized or whatever out there, just reach out, let us know. I'm happy to help you out. But it's not terribly difficult. You have your choices are Microsoft Office, Exchange, which gives you two-way synchronization. There's Google's Calendar, which gives you a one-way synchronization, but it still works. Um, and then if you want, for some of those who are like Apple aficionados, you can use Apple Calendar for keeping track of that stuff. I just don't know if it syncs with anything. It may sync with iCloud,
All
but
those well, they do, and all those now with technology will talk to each other.
if it's set
So
up that way, yes. If
if
it's set
yeah,
up,
and you
yeah,
gotta set it,
yeah, you got
but
to set it up.
anyways, to your point, there's no excuse for
Well,
not
it's
having
the
it
only the
on a
only
calendar.
excuse is I can't be bothered, right? The technology exists now for us to be able to keep track of, and unfortunately, this is not the world of your fathers and grandfathers, right? It just isn't. That world is dead, and so um, you need to be able to say, okay, I need to keep track of everything that's going on with me, and everybody that's involved with every aspect of my life, and that's going to require you to become a monster at calendaring, right? And it's just, if you can just get that part done, it'll alleviate a lot of stress in your life because something else is doing the remembering for you.
That's it, and it's huge, and I remember not too long ago when I didn't have that, and we talked about this, you touched on it earlier, self-awareness, and because I'm aware now and a lot of things we talk about, I'm more self-aware of
Yep.
things that are occurring and happening in my life, but this is one of those things that I'm aware that I've got to have this stuff scheduled,
Yes.
and you can schedule appointments, I mean, with Outlook, you can schedule it for 3 years in advance. Every day at this time, I
Yep.
am booked.
Yep.
I am there, and then you can move them, but it's there and use that tool. But as you say, if it's not on there, it doesn't
But I mean,
exist. And
I'm a
inevitably, if it's not, you're gonna get caught.
and we all want to do things. Sometimes many of us work because that's how you earn your living, but it's not really what you know lights you up inside. So there are other things you want to do. You're a photographer. You're a dancer. You're a you're a flower arranger. Whatever it is, if that's not that time for that kind of creative endeavor is not carved out in your calendar, you will never do it, and
It's not gonna happen.
you will always feel bad about it.
Yep.
Right? There'll be this sort of always this kind of undercurrent of unhappiness, and initially you may not know what it is, but what it is you're not doing the thing that makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm a singer-songwriter, so I like to mix music, record and mix music. So I carve that time out in my day. I'm not available.
And you make it so let
It's a
me ask you
priority.
this, and it's a priority, and you make it non-negotiable. The only
Correct.
time it moves is if it's a, quote, "emergency," and we've had
Emergency.
talks about
Yes,
what
exactly.
constitutes an emergency,
Yeah.
and kudos to you for doing that.
That's a hard learned lesson though. It took me years to figure that out. That part of me was actually important, right?
Yeah,
Everybody is taught to ignore that as they grow up. Don't be silly. You need to get a job. Okay. But how do I make job may not, there are people who do their job is what makes them happy. Awesome. Sweet. Majority of people for whom their job is not what makes them happy, it's merely what pays the bills. Right? And so, question you have to ask yourself is, what is it that makes me happy? How do I ensure that that happens in my life every day, not by accident? So I think a lot of people will just sort of nobody raises their children with these kinds of skills, right? That say, okay, here's how you cut up your day. Nobody teaches their children that because they're no good at it, right? But the reality is that there's a time and a place. There's old saying, time and a place for everything.
Mhm.
and
Yep.
and it's in the calendar. So and the reality is that you need to decide what it is in your life that makes you happy, and how much of that do you want to sacrifice for making the job thingy work.
Yeah.
And you will find, as I'm sure you are finding as you get older and you get so I'm about 10 years ahead of you. You get to a point where you're like, yeah, I don't care. I just want to do the thing that makes me happy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm
Right.
getting there.
Yeah, I know.
Because what really,
It's an age thing.
what makes me the happiest right now is spending time with my
Sure. And it's
and
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 nothing
being
a-
a
and
yeah,
being a dad.
yep. And
Yeah.
it's and I split custody. There's certain things, but the times that I have with that, I'm willing and I want to, and those things are definitely on my calendar.
Yes.
As I talked to you before, the things
Because
that
they are of
she has are
importance.
coming, they go on there because it's just important to me to be with her and watch her interact and watch her be happy. I get such a joy in that being a father. So those are on my calendar, but to your point of the
Those are your
other things
non-negotiables.
that are important to me, and I think we've talked about this before, but this is my 26th year in a golf league that runs through the summer, and it's every Wednesday night. And now my calendar all summer is blocked off because I'm the
Nice.
president. I have to run it. I have to help do it, and I make sure I'm there. And I've told this to other people. If I can't find in the summer, if I can't find 3 hours in an entire week to go do the things I enjoy with a lot of the people that I enjoy being around and I've had relationships with, then what's the
What's
joy
the
in
point? No,
living? I mean, honestly,
what's the point? No, and you are
yeah,
absolutely
you know,
100% correct.
yeah.
What is the bloody point if you're going to do that?
And I'll just to say this, 15 years ago, 10 years in the golf league, when I owned my own business and doing this, I mean, and I've learned that now, and that's where I know I'm more aware and I progress. But I'd be on the golf course in a golf cart talking business and talking about the crap that was going on and people having access to me at that time of day because it wasn't on my calendar. Well, now anybody and everybody that's at work or wants to know where I'm at, and I put it right out there. Like I said, I don't have
Yeah,
anything to hide.
it's on my
Hacker League.
calendar.
Everybody knows I got Hacker
Yep,
League where I'm at now.
yep.
I've been there 4+ years, and they know Wednesdays. That's what I do, and I made it a point. And why I do it because it's more than just golf. I run the league. It now carries my father's name. It's something because he passed during COVID, and he was kind of the mastermind when we started it 26 years ago. And that's something that's important to me. And my brother's in there, and a lot of my family's in there, but a lot of friends and relationships I've created in 26 years. And it's important, and it's on the calendar till September. Then when it's gone,
It's
but
gone.
yeah, and it's there. And I have missed a few times because again, if there's an emergency,
Right.
something comes up and I have to change because that's what we have subs for. But I try to make that a priority because it's something that I really
It's
enjoy.
important. It's important to you. Yeah. And I totally agree. And it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's going golfing with your friends, or if it's playing a guitar, or if it's
Yeah.
cooking, or it's taking photographs, or even if it's just sitting and staring at the trees while the wind blows. Doesn't matter.
Feed your personal
Feed feed the animals.
self-satisfaction animal. And then the other part to this is the feed the animal, which is the working part of it. You have to generate income. You have to have it come in so that you can do those things. And that's making sure no matter what you do, what your job is, if you're salaried, if you're hourly, if you work 2 jobs, if you work 5 jobs, if you have side hustles or whatever,
doesn't matter.
is making sure that the things that you need to do to continue for that to keep coming in and or progress in your profession or your livelihood,
Yes.
that you're making sure you're doing
Mhm.
those too, you know,
Yes.
and you're
And that, yes.
get
And I think there is this notion that you need to be able to feed the animals, which are typically external to you, which is paying your bills, making sure the stuff at work gets done, the boss, you meet with your bosses, whatever needs doing, right? That all of those things are set up and designed. This is the big word, designed in your life to ultimately allow you to do the things that feed your heart and your soul and to do them with the people you want to do them with,
yeah.
right? It's an enabler if you do it right. But that does require you to then become very disciplined about what you will and will not give your time to, how you schedule that time and how you maintain that schedule. All of these are absolutely essential skills, right? So my recommendation to everybody is get good at calendaring.
And with that, protect your time. Protect your time as you protect your space and your boundaries and everything
Right.
is protect it.
Yeah.
Know what's if you know you gotta work, you gotta get this done so that you get that check or you get that income,
Whatever it takes.
schedule it, have it on there, do what it takes, and
Yep.
then with the personal things you talked about, but get those in there too, and then protect those and be non-negotiable with them, and I'm learning that
Well,
in
yes,
my work
being
profession too now, because people call me, and if I've got 2 more projects that started, and I'm getting booked with back-to-back meetings, and I'm looking at my calendar like the next 2 weeks, and I've got 2 days where the meetings start at 8 and they don't stop till 3. There's not even a 15-minute break in there, and I'm like, "This is not gonna work." So
yeah, this
now,
is
on
yeah,
Friday, I'm gonna sit down and go, I've got to move some of these around because, other people, they're
yeah.
looking at theirs and I just saying, yeah, and I'm clicking yes, accept it. And I'm going,
Don't
nope,
accept it. No,
those 2 days for the next, if I do that for the next 3 months on the summer wonders are going to kick my ass and I'm going
yes.
to be so drained. And we talked about this last year when I was there and how the summer wonders hit and things went nuts and it will drive you insane. And again, that's the awareness thing you talk about that I'm aware this year that maybe I wasn't last year that I'm not going to do it again.
See, I
I
think
can't.
we've said this on other podcasts before. If you're not willing to be your own gatekeeper, who is?
Exactly. Yep.
Right? So you need to look at your
Yep.
calendar, and if somebody says, I get calendar items sent to me all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. Decline. Come back at me with a time. And sometimes a lot of people will send you calendar items blind, hoping you'll just say yes.
Yeah.
That's become a thing, by the way. That's a new sales tactic.
Oh no, it is. It's in ours, and I have people that
Yeah.
that I work with. They're like, "Well, you just send them a calendar invite, and then
No,
force them to accept it." And I have a hard time with that. You know.
that's because you understand how humanity works.
Well, I do,
If you
and
send me, and maybe it's a thing with younger generation that they just accept out of a sense of obligation. Us old guys, we don't give a damn.
well,
Right?
that's it.
If you don't call me and say, "Hey man, are you available at this time?" And if I am, hell yeah, I'll be there, man. I'll be there. But even like the large corporations like Comcast, I help a lot of customers get bandwidth into their offices. Comcast showed up at a client site unannounced last week and then got upset because I wasn't there. And I'm like, "Did you call me? Did you
Or even text
anything?
me,
Even text me?"
anything. Leave me a sticky note on my window of my car.
What I hate is people who can't be honest. He says, "Yeah, I called him and he didn't answer." And I'm like, "Really? Come look at my phone and show me your call." Right? And so I called my contacts in Comcast. I'm like, "I can't have this. I'm not gonna be bullied by some guy who doesn't know how to manage his calendar." Right?
Yeah, well,
And
exactly. Yep.
And
Yep.
so
Yep.
we're meeting next Thursday.
There you go. Scheduled time, scheduled
Scheduled time.
place.
It's in the calendar.
Well, and with what COVID created and nobody could go, and it created Zoom and it created Teams and it created all this stuff, that there's ways that if you need to really meet with somebody, there's all kinds of avenues that technology in some
Yes,
ways
but
created
in
good
the end,
that you can pick up your phone and you can meet with somebody for 8 minutes in your car if you have to. You know
yeah,
what I
and
mean?
but
Not
what I'm
show up
saying is,
unannounced and be like, "I expect you to
yeah,
talk to me now."
but even the CEOs of companies that want to get a hold of me, they understand and they're respectful about other people's times. They reach out and go, "Do you have time next Wednesday at 10:30?"
Well, see, and you've set a precedent, so you are
Correct.
respected. And if you
Yes.
don't set that precedence, and if you don't set
Then
boundaries,
you're gonna get walked all over it.
you are. And honestly,
Then don't whine when you don't have enough time in your day.
yep. And then those people, honestly, those people that you do that to, they actually respect you more
Absolutely, they do, and I
than
respect
those
them.
that,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
because we understand that time is valuable. This is the other piece. Is I think everybody just thinks that, even if you work for minimum wage at McDonald's, your time is still valuable as a human being. People can't just have that because you're minimum wage. What the hell does that mean? Right? Your time is still valuable as a
Mm-hmm.
human being. What you
Yep.
do for a living is not relevant,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And it's with everybody just assumes that they can bully you into giving up your time, and I am very adamant about it. I've learned to be pretty much militant about it. I'm like, nope, you can't have my time.
Well, and it's one of the
And I've
resources
got,
that is depleting and you can't ever get back.
well, exactly. There's a limited number of hours in a day, right? I can either give them to people who will waste my time, or I can give them to people and activities that will actually enhance my life.
I'm glad you touched on that. People who will waste my time, and that's
Yeah,
something that I do struggle with some is getting in basically lost in the minutia and meaningless conversation. Not
yeah,
that, and I'm a personable person and people enjoy
yes,
to be around me, and you learn about and you tell stories, and I get caught up in that too. But I've also had self-actualization going, oh my God, am I that guy that somebody's there and I'm
yes.
going or dragging on and they're like, did I just waste their time? Because I don't want to be wasteful of other people's time and I want to be respectful of it.
Correct. But until you fix you,
Well, and that's
you
it.
know,
And I think why I do that sometimes is because I let people do that to me often. I
don't
will
do it.
sit there and listen to them talk
Don't
and
do it. And they will
ramble
ramble
on,
on.
and I'm going, "Oh," and I wanna pick them up.
Blah,
"Oh, look at
blah,
the
blah,
time.
blah.
There's
Yeah, no.
oh, look at the time."
And
Yeah.
this is kind of why the CEOs of large corporations do things in 10 and 15-minute increments.
Mm.
Sure, you can have some time. You have 10 minutes.
Pomodoro, that's the method it kinda yeah.
I mean, it's just, sorry, but that's just the way it is. You got 10 minutes. What do you need?
Yep.
Right?
Well, and I guess you
It's not that I'm
show up.
trying to be an asshole. It's that time is valuable. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Let's not waste it yammering about stupid shit that doesn't matter.
Well, that's it, and when I have to talk to
Right?
corporate attorneys now and stuff, and they're billing at $450 an hour, and they bill on 15-minute increments, that's when you realize how valuable
Time is very
It
valuable.
it is, and there was an exercise that was done, and I have a spreadsheet, and I have to go find it, and it's a really simple exercise. And you look at it and you say, "Okay, what do I value?" And it's broken down. I'm gonna find if I do, I might share it or share a link to it, but it's kinda cool. But you value, okay, what's my time valued at? And even if you
What's
just take it that I'm salaried at so much annually, and if I work 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, here's what I make an hour. So, but it's even broken down, then you take that, and when somebody wants your time, even personally, to have
yeah.
15 or 20 minutes of your time, you have to weigh that versus my productivity, and I make
Yes.
whatever, $50 an hour, $100, $200 an hour
Yeah.
is that you
The formula for if you're salaried is take your annual salary and divide by 2080 of
right.
an 80. That's the number of hours in a
Right. Yeah.
series of,
If you're talking, yeah,
right?
feed the animal there, but then outside of work, if somebody wants my time and it's not something I'm enjoying or I want to do for self
Just
satisfaction,
say
i.e.,
no.
with my family or friends,
Just say no.
I can give you 15 like you said. Okay, what do you want? Let's meet for coffee. 15 minutes. Tell me what you got, but then learn and
yeah, thanks for that. But and
yeah.
even that, going to coffee takes time. I got to drive to the coffee shop,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
No, yeah. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you're
Sorry to
correct.
be a
Mhm.
butthead about it, but if you're going to take up my time and you're going to take up, or if you're going to go ask somebody for their time, they will, if they are not somebody who is in a position of authority or in a position of responsibility, they will give it to you and you'll be able to waste their time with impunity. Because seriously, because they don't understand that their time is actually valuable.
Yeah.
Somebody who's in a position of authority or responsibility in an organization, they're going to do the whole, yeah, yeah, I got 10 minutes. What do you want?
Mm, yeah.
Right. And just
Well,
because, and
you're I know you're there and you're owning your own, but that
I'm
stuff,
there
and
and I've
that's why
got,
you say that. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist, and I've
you,
heard you say that
here's
so
the other
many
part of it.
times.
If it's not on my calendar, you don't exist. Okay. Again, not because I'm trying to be mean, but because at the end of the day, time is valuable. There's only so many hours in a day. There's so many things I got to get done in a day. And there's so many things I have to do with respect to my clients and my own personal life.
Well, other people. Yep,
Right.
that's right. And
And
your
so,
sleep schedule.
and my sleep schedule. And
I'm
I don't
becoming with
know,
all this in
get up from
jobs.
a meeting, after 4 meetings, get up off your butt, go walk around and maybe go use the bathroom. Right. This is a problem with teachers and with nurses. These poor people they don't get to go to the bathroom. They don't get to go to they don't get to eat lunch. They don't, it's because every minute of their day is spoken for by someone else. And so far, none of the unions have said, you know what, screw you people. If you want you want one of our members' times, you need to schedule it. It's this assumption that your time is not of any value because you are either a teacher or a nurse or a firefighter or a policeman or right, which is complete bullshit. We need to learn to have respect for people's time, regardless of what their occupation is,
Agree.
right? And when I call somebody and I want to speak to them, when they answer the phone, my first question to them is this a good time? Even if we had an appointment,
Yeah.
is this a good time? Because from the time I made the appointment to the time he picks up the phone, his world may have changed,
Mhm.
right?
That fast.
That
Yep.
fast, right? So
Yep.
I'm always very respectful and go, is this still a good time? If they say, yeah, okay, all right, cool. I'm going to make this quick because I don't want to eat up your time, right? Bing, bang, boom. Get to the point of the conversation, get a decision, or set up a time for another conversation. Thanks for your time. Goodbye. Right? These 3 hour long Zoom sessions, no. Bite me.
Yeah.
Bite me. Sorry.
I know. And you said you've done those before, and
I have, and it's just
I've been in
what a complete waste of time.
Well, and then, and then the camera shuts off, and it's just like, "Oh, goodness sakes."
Well, and then what are you getting out of it? Because, about 15 minutes into it, you tune out.
Well,
And I
yeah.
can tell when people tune out because they turn off their cameras,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
it's just somebody's name on the screen. I'm like, this is a complete waste of time. And then it's death by PowerPoint. So,
Yeah. I hear you.
right. So my recommendation is be respectful of your time, be respectful of everybody else's time. Learn to say no. Saying no is actually okay. Very much so. People will, it's funny, if you say no and you say it in a respectful tone, they will either go find someone else to bother or they'll say, are you okay? If that doesn't work, can we maybe get together tomorrow or the next day? What time? Then you have a conversation about actual time in the calendar.
It's okay to say no,
It's
and
okay to,
I've had to learn that,
Tommy,
Ramin.
it's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no, and I'm still working on
That's
that
a hard
because
one.
not so
That's a
long
hard one.
ago, I said yes to everybody and
everything.
and
Yes.
was
And
wore out and beat down. But I tell you now, I feel better where I'm at in my life and all that. And there's a whole lot of reasons, but that's one big one is learning how to set some boundaries. And
yes, be
back
your
on the
own
subject of
gatekeeper.
FT, feed the animal.
Feed the
Even
animals and be your own
work and that
gatekeeper.
is generating, and I'm generating more income now than I ever have in my life. And I'm finding more personal time in my life than I had before.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more sleep
Yeah.
than I did.
But you're doing that, as we said before, on purpose, intentionally.
Yes. And being intentional.
You have to be intentional. Protect yourself, protect your time, right? Protect your peace. Because that's literally what everybody's trying to take away from you.
Yep.
They don't intend to be that way. It's not really
most people, they don't even know.
They're not even aware, but protect your peace. You are more than entitled to tell literally anybody no.
Yep. Amen to that.
Mother, father, children, firemen, policemen. The answer is no. I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah, it's when I have some time, I'll be happy to sit down and chat with you.
And then what? And we've gone that episode, and I use that a few times. That's the Yabbit. Oh, there's there's Mr. Yabbit again, but it's
annoying.
We've said it, and I've said it to people that are close to me. You know what? It's not that I don't care, but I don't.
But I really don't care.
And when you put it in that context in that way, people now are hearing me say that. I'm saying it more, and they're starting to understand. What I mean.
Yes,
when I say it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
They know you're not saying it on purpose to be mean.
No, but I'm being intentional with that phrase. That it's not that I don't care,
but I really don't care.
Because the drama and I don't care, and I don't.
The current version of that is sorry, not sorry.
Right. Well, yeah. Sorry, not sorry. I don't have time for it. I don't have time.
You never
for
did.
Drama. I don't even have time for the drama on social media, and you don't do much of any of it. I do a little bit here and there. YouTube is the
only one I do.
But I don't get drawn into those.
I don't care.
I don't get sucked down those holes anymore because you can, and it's not hard for me to stay away. But there was a while ago when it was
I had somebody reach out the other day. They said, "Oh, did you see the pictures of my nephew's wedding?" And I'm like, "No." Didn't you say I posted it on Facebook as though somehow that means that
you were supposed to see it?
I posted it on Facebook. That means it's your responsibility to go see it.
This goes back to an episode. Was this a friend or an acquaintance?
Yes. And I'm like, A, I don't care. And B, if it's important enough to you, text me the pictures.
Because your friends, I'm guarantee you, people that are really intimate friends of yours,
they don't do that shit.
That you're not on Facebook.
Yeah, I actually had one of my friends reach out and go, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine, totally fine."
Well, hey,
you haven't posted
maybe
much.
they listen.
Like,
maybe they listened to our podcast and heard and reached. Are you okay? Because we just talked about that recently.
I don't know. It's just what I do know is that there is more peace in my life. Since I cut out social media. The only social media I keep alive is what we're doing here, YouTube.
Good. Yeah.
Right.
And this is important. And that's why we're intentional with this. And it's on my calendar.
We're doing this on purpose.
Every week.
Yeah.
Same
this is
time.
Not,
same
this is not
place,
a thing we're doing by
channel.
accident. Yep. We're not doing this stuff by accident.
Yep. And you do the other things outside of this, which you enjoy doing.
Exactly.
And that's why you are and you're intentional, because you're learning and you're growing. And that's what I've learned. Those things, I'm finding time for that, because that's more important to me to sit down and read 10 pages or do something educational versus sitting down and watching
what?
Boob tube or listening to somebody whine and moan and complain. It's exhausting.
Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Okay, don't do this.
I'm not a therapist.
I'm not your therapist. So feed the animals, be intentional about it, and protect yourself.
Yep. I think what that is a good place. It's a good place to stop. Feed the animal and all those places.
Feed the animals. Be intentional about it. Be intentional about protecting your time and your peace. All right? That's it.
Do it.
Having said that, peace.
Peace. Peace out, and we'll be doing it again soon.
Next week.
Right on the calendar where it's supposed to be to feed that animal.
Every week.
Yep.
I'll talk to you.
See you, brother. Yep.